Hello, welcome back for another Saturday video. I was going to do a spring break reading vlog, and that was an ultimate fail. I got so caught up with spring cleaning that I read a little bit, but not as much as I was anticipating. So we're going to scratch that idea and do something different today instead. Because it has been absolutely beautiful this entire week, I wanted to focus on some things that I am excited about that are being published during the spring. There are so many great books that are coming out, especially YA books that I'm really excited about, but I tried to narrow down my list to like 10-ish or so of the top books that I'm really looking forward to that are supposed to be coming out from either April to June. Some of them have already come out, and then some of them are coming out very, very soon, and some of them are like in a couple months still. So let's talk about some soon to be published books. I'm going to start with the adult books that are coming out that I'm really excited about. The first is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I absolutely loved The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I really enjoyed Daisy Jones and the Six. They were both like really, really interesting reads, and I loved a lot of the plot twists. Malibu Rising comes out on June 1st, and it takes place in 1983. The main character, Nina, is having an annual end of summer party. It's this huge bash. Everybody is coming to it. She's part of this celebrity famous family where she is a talented surfer and supermodel. And then her brothers are both like champion surfers too. They're like really well known. And they also have a baby sister, Kit. Nina is not looking forward to the party at all. It's just like a big publicity stunt. She wants nothing to do with it. And then it goes into each of the different siblings and their roles in the story. But then by the end of the night, like things have gotten wild and out of control. Like their house is on fire. Everybody's drunk. Like things have just kind of come out secret-wise, and it is a mess. So with a good Taylor Jenkins Reid book, there are going to be lots of plot twists and turns throughout this. The next adult read that I'm really looking forward to is called One Stop. It is by Casey McQuiston, the same author who wrote Red, White, and Royal Blue, which I was shockingly in love with. It had such a awesome plot. It is not classroom appropriate in any way, shape, or form. I enjoyed it. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it that much. I felt like it was being really hyped up, and there was good reason for it being hyped up. So I'm really looking forward to this next book by this author. August is a cynical 23-year-old who moves to New York City, and she is determined to have New York City prove her right. She believes that there is no cinematic love story that's going to happen. But then she meets this gorgeous girl on a train, and her name is Jane. August develops this significant crush on Jane, but then come to find out she's actually from the 1970s and has been displaced in time somehow. Casey McQuiston's writing is hysterical. I think this is going to be a really interesting concept of reality versus this science fiction kind of blend that she has going on. I'm pretty stoked for it, and I didn't think this would be something that I was going to be really excited about, but here we are. Now we're going to talk about some YA books because I tend to gravitate more towards anything YA because then I want to include it in my classroom library as well. So up first is something that was actually published a couple of days ago on April 6th, and that is called The Cost of Knowing by Brittany Morris. I have already started it because Libro FM had an educator ALC for it, so I am currently listening to it. I'm not very far, but what I can tell you so far is that the main character, Alex, whenever he touches items, he has visions of what's going to happen with that item in the next couple of moments. So he works at an ice cream shop. Whenever he touches the scoop for the ice cream, he has this vision of what is going to happen in the next couple of minutes with the ice cream scoop. His parents have recently passed. I think it said maybe a year ago in the story so far, but he's trying to already process through this trauma. There was some kind of accident. It hasn't gone into detail yet, but there was some kind of accident where his parents did not survive and he did, and then that was when these visions started. So of course the first thing that he starts to do is Google how to get rid of these visions or what to do. Eventually he touches a picture of his brother and it gives him a vision of his brother's death. And so now it's become this whole big race against time to try to figure out what exactly is going to happen and if Alex can stop it. So far, it seems like it's going to be pretty good. I'm really anticipating just getting into it and seeing how everything unfolds. I feel like this is going to be an edge of the seat kind of book the whole time. Brittany Morse also published Slay, which I read, I believe, last summer, and that was really, really good. It was like this badass girl who designs this game, and it's specifically for the Black population, and there's a lot of controversy around it. That was also a phenomenal read, so you should totally check that out if you haven't yet. Up next is House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. This also just came out on April 6th. The cover is stunning. I don't really need to know anything else other than that, except that I'm incredibly intrigued by the cover. But here's a brief synopsis of it. The Hollow sisters live in Scotland, and they're a little bit strange. They disappear randomly one day and then show up randomly again a month later, and they start to change. Their dark hair goes white, they just become like very glamorous and intoxicating, and these weird, strange things happen when they are around. 10 years later, Iris, one of the sisters, is doing all that she can to fit in. She just wants to graduate high school and like go on with her life. But then her older sister Gray disappears, and she and her sister Viv have to go and figure out what has happened to Gray. But they realize that they're not the only ones looking for her, and there's a lot of like supernatural things that are going on throughout the story. So the cover alone is gorgeous, plus the summary of it sounds incredible, and it is something else that I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on a copy of. Okay, at this point, I probably should have filmed this before April 6th because everything good seems to come out on April 6th, but that's fine. The next book is The Infinity Quartz. It is by Akemi Dawn Bowman, and this sounds fantastic. The cover is stunning, but the summary is really intriguing. 18-year-old Nami is pretty sure that her life is just beginning. She has just graduated high school. She has an amazing family. She is actually on her way to a party where the rest of her class is waiting. But the problem is that she never gets there because she's murdered before she can get there. When she wakes up, she is in this place called Infinity, which is where her soul, her consciousness goes to when her physical body dies. She finds out that Ophelia, which is this virtual assistant that humans use, has taken over the afterlife world and is posing as a queen. And all of these folks who are kind of now in this purgatory of sense, I guess, have to come together and rebel and defeat Ophelia. It just sounds incredibly action-packed. It sounds incredibly intense. I am slightly horrified about the thought of an AI taking over. Is it really an AI? I guess maybe it is. Anyway, sounds like another really interesting book that I would love to get my hands on. This is another book that was published on April 6th, but it's okay. What Beauty There Is by Corey Anderson sounds like just a heartbreaking read. It is winter in Idaho, and Jack just has himself and his brother. His dad is in jail. I don't know where mom is. It doesn't mention in the summary. She could be dead. I would assume that they would probably have said she was also in jail, or maybe she left. I'm not sure. Jack has to decide whether he is willing to lose his brother to the foster care system to help them survive and stay healthy and alive, or to find the drug money that sent his father to prison. So Jack chooses to find the money instead of losing his brother, the only other thing that he has right now in his life. Ava is the other main character, and she has been controlled by her father for forever. He has taught her to love no one, and her dad is actually trying to find the same money that Jack is. So there's going to be some kind of maybe like enemies to lovers kind of thing, or even just like a friendship. I would be totally cool with like some really solid friendship to come out of this to like support each other. But it's all about the choices that they make and how they come with a price. Up next is something that is not published until May 18th. I got one. Okay, this one is called May the Best Man Win. It is by Z.R. Eller. Okay, so Jeremy is a transgendered boy, just came out, and has decided that instead of being shut down by all the bigots at school, he is going to make some noise and he's going to let everyone know who he is and what he stands for. He decides that there is nothing better than right now to challenge his ex-boyfriend Lucas for the title of Homecoming King. Lucas is a football star, he is head of the homecoming committee, and so there becomes this big rivalry between the two of them to duke it out for the title of Homecoming King. Of course, Lucas is not going to let that happen, and so he has this whole revenge plot set up, and it just is this this battle between the two of them. The boys take their revenge a little bit too far, and the dance is like threatened to be canceled. In order to save homecoming, they have to face the hurt that they are feeling and kind of come to terms with their relationship status now, whether they are together, I'm not sure, or whether they at least can figure out how to be friends together again. Okay, the next book is actually a sequel, and I didn't know it was a sequel until right now, and I'm kind of freaking out. But it comes out on June 1st, and it is called A Chorus Rises, and it is by Bethany C. Morrow. It is the sequel to A Song Below Water. I loved A Song Below Water. I loved the blend of mythology and fantasy and like magical realism that was in it. Well, I had no idea, and I'm really, really here for it. I just looked at it because all I saw was Bethany C. Morrow, and I was like, okay, I really, really enjoyed A Song Below Water. Let me check out this book, and it's a sequel. It's a sequel. This story centers on a teen influencer. Her name is Nima, and she is in a loco. She's very charismatic. She has a great personality. People love her until she exposes a siren to the entire world, and like she gets dragged through the media hardcore. But no one understands her side to it, not her boyfriend, not her friends. And so she's feeling very vilified and decides to head to the Southwest to kind of get away. She is determined to stage a comeback. So while she is away, she finds this community that is all of a group of online fans who they totally support her. They take her side initially, but then all of a sudden they start targeting other Black girls. They take her side initially, but then they start targeting other Black girls, and she kind of realizes that her fame and power only extends so far, and she has to discover the purpose of her own power and how to use it to advocate for girls like her, and especially Black girls like her. So it seems like it's not going to follow the same characters at all, so it'll be really interesting to see if they make an appearance throughout. I think that this is probably going to be one I'll listen to again because I listened to A Song Below Water and really enjoyed the narrator for that. So I may get both. I may get a physical copy of it and also listen to it. On June 1st, Deb Cletty has a new book coming out. So I'm really excited about it because I absolutely cherish A Heart in the Body of the World, and I am super stoked to read her next book. Charlotte is our main character, and she wins a scholarship to a writing workshop in Venice with a very charismatic and brilliant Luca. So it's like this whole dream come true. She gets to go and write and explore her passions. But while she's in Venice, she realizes that Luca's behavior starts to become kind of erratic and unnerving, and she's a little worried about it. She begins to unearth some work about a Venetian poet who is in her family line, Isabella D'Angelo, and she might be the author of a very famous poem. So she's trying to figure out these secrets of her family and her past. She's also learning a lot of secrets about the present too. The summary says that there's going to be a shattering climax, and I would expect nothing less from Deb Cletty. Last but certainly not least, this book comes out on June 22nd, and it is Blackout by a plethora of fantastic female authors. We have Danielle Clayton, Tiffany D. Jackson, Nick Stone, Angie Thomas, Ashley Woodfolk, and Nicola Yoon. What a powerhouse dynamic that this book is going to be. I am baffled that all of them together are able to write something. Like, you often see like maybe 2, maybe 3 authors co-writing, but like 6 of them is incredible, and there's such a force to be reckoned with. Whew! We don't know a ton about this book. All we pretty much know so far is that there is a heat wave in the summer in New York City, which causes a rolling blackout and mass confusion. There is a first meeting. There are longtime friends. There are bitter exes. Maybe something new that is beginning. And then when the lights go on, people reveal hidden truths. So that doesn't give me much to go on, but it doesn't matter because we have such a force behind the writing of this book. That's all that matters at this point. So those are 9 titles that I'm like super looking forward to. I was going to talk about Rule of Wolves, but I already have it. It already came out this spring. So that's book number 10. I was really excited to read this one too. And I am currently, let's see how far I am. I am currently like almost halfway through it. This is everything that I expected from Leigh Bardugo. that is all that I have this Saturday. Thank you for watching this video. I would love to hear what books you are most excited about coming out in the next couple of months for our spring season, and if there are any titles that I mentioned that you are maybe interested in buddy reading. Once we get like to summer, I'm a really good buddy reader. I just have been kind of flaking lately and I need to get it together. Anyway, that is all that I have for this weekend. I hope that you have a fantastic week and I will see you back here next Saturday.